Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farm. As you can see, my dear friend Ashley is still with us. We have our cups of coffee. It's actually cold. So the high today is only 69. Nathan's mom ended up calling us yesterday and told us that we had this cold snap coming. It's probably, what, in the 50s right now?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's windy.
It is. I walked outside in a little, like...
a very cute dress.
Very cute little sundress, and I was like, oh no, I gotta go back inside. Today we are actually gonna be harvesting some radishes because we went to Jessica's last night. I harvested some beets and I'm gonna make some fermented pickle and beets. You guys ask us a lot about our fermenting recipes. I have done one on radishes before, which the beets are gonna be pretty similar, but I thought that would be a fun thing for us to do, take you guys along. So we went to Jessica's last night, which was really a special moment for me to get to show you our future farm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and so honestly, before we dive into harvesting this morning, I just want so we had done a video for her channel and she was mentioning that sometimes when you see things and then you get somewhere, it's not quite what you had expected. Yeah. And so I was kind of asking her that about our farm, like, was it what you thought it was gonna be? And the same question got asked when we went to Jessica's, so I really just wanna know, was it what you thought it was going to be?
And we haven't talked about it yet.
No.
We have not talked about it at all because we came home and we went right to bed because we were exhausted. So, like when we were in the car driving home last night, I was talking to Kevin, my husband, and I was like, man, Jill said maybe, like, you know, I'm interested to know if you think it's just like how you've seen it on Instagram or on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was exactly, in fact, it was more beautiful than I thought it would be. And I said to Jess last night, this is not a May garden.
Yeah.
Like, that garden has favor.
Yeah.
It really does. And we were joking about it last night. But like looking at like your space or like my space at home and like where my plants are right now.
Yeah.
She's like, her entire cottage garden is in bloom. Like all her dahlias are blooming.
Yeah.
And like she's got zinnias blooming, which you have two over there now too.
Really?
Yeah. But just, I mean, it was just gorgeous and they are the sweetest people.
They are. You guys know they are some of our dearest friends, but they really do. I say this all the time. They love us so well, and like Ashley and Kevin are an extension of us, right? Like they're our community that Jess and Maya didn't know, and they were just so like, yeah, come over, no big deal. Like she walked us through the whole farm, and that's one of the things that I just love about building community is that you can have a stranger you don't even know be like, yeah, come into my house. I want to show you what I put all this work into. But Ashley's totally right. It is not a May garden. No. Like her garden is and it's inspiring. I never go over there and feel defeated. I don't think, oh my gosh, my garden doesn't look like this. No. I think, oh my gosh, this is what I want my garden to look like. Oh my gosh, I need to go home and throw some more seeds in the ground.
And how cool for you in this season that you're about to walk into that garden. Like this is such a gift being prepared for you, and like, oh my gosh.
I am so excited to like, I feel so proud to call that my space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, all the people can come and visit us. It's just like, I want to show you that garden. I want to show you the high tunnel and all these other things. And it's just like this moment of that farm is going to make me so proud to know that like we are the owners and we are about to step into stewarding that. And I really am fortunate. I know we get asked a lot, are you overwhelmed by what you're walking into? And I would be overwhelmed if I wasn't walking into that. You know, like that is such just a sense of peace and calm for me. And like Ashley said, I know you guys see how beautiful it is, but when you see it in person, it's like next level. It just does something to your soul.
It does.
And I'll always leave there feeling so encouraged and so inspired just to grow food, grow something beautiful. So it was good for me. Everything looked so pretty last night.
It was beautiful. And it was so cool to like see that space in the context of like the dreams that you've shared with me and like where you want to take it and like how you want to make that Whispering Willow farm. And I just thought that was so cool to like be able to see it. And like we didn't even talk about that last night, but like walk through, and I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, okay, so Jill is gonna do this and like in this space. This is so cool. Like it's so cool.
I know. We're so excited. We can't wait to take you guys on this adventure. If you're tired of us talking about it, sorry.
Yeah, you better buckle up because you're gonna be a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna be hearing about it quite a bit. Okay, are you ready to go harvest some radishes?
Yes.
I think some of mine might have cracked because I feel like when we were looking the other day, I should have probably harvested them a while ago. However, when you're fermenting them, if I were to just rip those out of the garden and cut them up, they are probably going to have a little bit of a heat. Whenever it gets really hot, radishes start taking on this spicy like tone. But when you ferment them, I notice that even if, because I've had huge rutabagas that have been completely like cracked and woody, they taste really good still fermented.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay. It depends on what you plan on doing with them. But let's go harvest some.
Let's do it.
So Ashley was just talking about how every gardener who thinks they can't garden should grow a radish because these little bad boys, it's literally like a 32 to 35 day seed to harvest, super easy. It's one of those things that you plant and you just feel really encouraged by. And these are like heavily seeded. I had intentions to go in and thin them out, and I did. Yeah, don't we all? I did, but I didn't do them all. And they're just resilient little things. They'll just bulb up anyways. They'll produce anyways. It's so nice. These are the Helios from Haas Tools. I really like these. But if you're looking for an easy crop that you can sow pretty much all the time, like, I mean, when it starts getting really hot, they start getting woody like I was talking about. But for me, I just keep succession sowing them until it gets super hot. Then I will be growing these all throughout the fall, well into the winter. I even had daikon radishes that overwintered in the garden and the tops had completely died off. But I had these huge daikon radishes. They tasted so good. They're so beautiful. If you've never eaten or grown the daikon radish, I encourage you to because it is beautiful. Have you ever grown it?
No.
It is like the longest, most beautiful purple radish.
I'm gonna need to go buy some.
Oh yeah, I think I have some seeds. I'll give you some seeds. But yeah, grow some radishes if you're questioning if you want to get into this. You can grow them in containers. You can grow them in a raised bed. The soil, it doesn't really matter that much on soil. They just are a really hardy thing to grow. So we have got a pretty decent harvest of radish here. We've got, I want to show you guys these. I think this is the purple plum. I wish I knew the variety of this, but I don't. But look how beautiful this pink is. These are so pretty.
They look perfectly.
They are. I mean, which I just sowed these not too long ago either. And you've got, come show your little haul. Let me turn the camera around.
We got a ton.
Look at that.
And they're all so perfect. Like, look how...
Yes.
Real food.
Real. Our friend says real food comes dirty.
She wasn't lying.
Oh my goodness, it is windy out here.
It is.
All right, we're about to take the radishes inside. We're gonna, yeah, we've got so many radishes. So we're gonna go inside and finish the rest of this showing you guys how to make fermented radishes and beets in the kitchen. All right, we have made it into the kitchen, step 2 of this video. Here are the beets that I got from Jess's. I just grabbed like a handful and then Ashley just washed all of these radishes. We have a bowl full of radishes. I'm so excited. So this is gonna be kind of me hands-on explaining and then a lot of Ashley like helping me with the logistics of trying to teach you guys. I did do, like I mentioned, the fermenting radish video. I'm going off of the same recipe. So I do this with rutabagas, I've done this with carrots, I've done this with a lot of different vegetables, and I just use the same base recipe because it gets complicated when you start like trying to find new recipes. That is not where I excel, you guys know that. So literally all I'm doing is just cutting off the top of this beet, and I'm gonna cut the bottom off and just thinly try to slice these in circular shape. The cool thing about beets too is one, these are gonna go to my rabbits, or you can compost them. But any excess that you have to cut out, you could keep all these and put them in some sort of baggie or a bowl, and you can use them as a natural dye, which I have dyed a lot of my clothes in the past with turmeric, ginger, beets, the greens from different vegetables. So that's really cool if you maybe want to get your kids involved. I do have some water boiling on the stove with a couple tablespoons of salt in it. So I'm gonna let that come to a boil, and then I'm just gonna remove it and let it come to room temperature while I'm working on the other stuff. You wanna come help me chop up some stuff?
Let's do it.
So have you ever made any fermented anything?
I made fermented pickles once, and I was intimidated by the, like, when do you know it's done? How do you know you didn't end up with anything bad?
Right.
Like, I had never had fermented foods, so I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So I don't think we ate them.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Look how pretty that is, though.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that is.
And they smell divine. It's so, like, earthy but fresh and
they smell like
very sweet. I love it.
So while Ashley is still cutting away, look at these beautiful beets. Check out that color. These are magnificent. They look just like the bull's blood.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I think that that's probably a safe guess on what they are. So what I'm gonna do is just add some dill. This is freeze-dried dill. You can use fresh dill, you can use just dried dill, whatever kind you have. This is just, I'm just sprinkling. There's no rhyme or reason behind this, just a little bit in the bottom. And ideally, I would be using fresh garlic cloves, but our garlic's not ready.
Yes.
I mean, I probably could pull one, but I'm not. So I have minced garlic, which is what I'm just gonna use and throw some in there. Usually I just take a spoonful and plop it in there. Not really full, but
it smells good.
It smells so good. So I'm gonna be mixing the beets and the radish because we don't care. Like, we're all eating them together. We're just eating these as snacks. The kids love them as a snack. Surprisingly, this is one of Charlie's favorite snacks, and June. June loves the fermented radish, which is strange because they won't just eat a radish plain. They don't just love it. Isn't that straight?
It's like a flower.
That's funny. So I'm just gonna go in and fill these jars pretty tightly. So I pack these in pretty tight, as much as I can just squeeze in there. I don't really have a rhyme or a reason how I do this. I just cram as much in the jar as I can. All right, and you guys can see I've just got this lovely mixture of beets and radish. Once the water has cooled, I'll put it on top of here and we'll talk about that in a second. Y'all, Nathan is gonna be so excited. Check out how pretty these are. I think these are beautiful. So Ashley was telling me that her husband Kevin makes a radish salsa, which sounds really good, and I'm curious if we could do this with beets. I am growing beets too out in my garden as well, so that's fun to kind of just get to experiment. I've never heard of radish salsa. If you have, I'm really interested. Have you tried it? Do you like it? What does that look like for you? And so I don't know, that would be a fun new thing to try. So once your water has reached room temperature, you're just gonna take a canning funnel, pop it on this, and I'm just gonna fill this up into right at the baseline. And then I actually have these really cool weights that'll go on here, and I'll show you guys that as well. All right, so now that this has cooled down to room temperature, you guys can see I'm literally just kind of touching the pan, and that's pretty much how I reference. I don't have my normal canning funnel because Charlie used it for play the other day and we can't find it, so I just have these funnels. I don't know, Nathan picked them up for me somewhere. I've just got them in here, and I'm gonna pour this over. See if y'all can see. All right, pop that funnel out. So a wonderful viewer sent me this fermenting kit, and it came with these fermenting lids and these weighted little glass tops. So you literally just pop on the top of your mason jar to kind of push everything down. I do use them. It is kind of nice just to make sure everything's below the line that you need it to be at. So now you guys can see everything's there. Literally all I'm doing is taking the fermenting lid and popping it on there. The cool thing about these lids, I'm not sure if y'all can see very well, but there are days on here, so it counts like 1 through 31. And so I'm gonna reset it to 0. Usually I let mine go about, goodness, we usually start testing them at day 10 or so. We have let them go for up to 2 weeks. We have let them go for like, 8 or 9 days, and that's fine. Usually Nathan and I just do a taste test. I kind of shake them around just to get all the herbs and the garlic in here. And we keep them on the counter. Room temperature, whatever your house is set on is fine. Check out how pretty that is. So it really is just that simple. There's not a whole lot to fermenting, but you can do this. Like I said, I've done this recipe with rutabagas. We've done it with turnips. We've done it with carrots. Now we're doing it with beets. There's so many different options you can do. It's a great way to use up, some of your vegetables that maybe you don't know what to do with them. And you're like, oh man, I have an excess of radishes or rutabagas or beets. This is just a really good opportunity to use them up, and it tastes really good. All right, you guys, thanks so much as we went and harvested radishes from here, beets from Jessica's house, made fermented beets and radishes. That was pretty simple process, right?
Super simple.
I feel like you could go home and do this now.
I'm gonna go home and do this now.
Did you eat the fermented rutabaga?
I did. It was really good.
You liked it? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you do not already follow Ashley, I will leave all of her stuff in the description, but we'll talk to you guys soon.